I the president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, akoko PMO United States, akoko dinko bi ewo the UN Assembly Conference amkoko ye. Na him say apart from say yewra John Dramani Mahama, the president of Ghana no, osai AU chairman. Nti no enkomo okoko di eni na efa Africa, any African slave ho. Na US for so any response akoko komano pose a proposal na o make no deba asem no kan deba asem na US for no so kan e ba be di ho komo high politically 22 and then they can we piece of channel we so dem say subscribe now the notification at all say na be ya video be betuma drop bia no una first say na be hwe abeka say first to comment na fi so di bia trend bia politics mo news mo our person di ho komo channel we so bia no leave the comment below and you attend to it and make sure that we bring you that information. Now, the president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, actually say, that slave trade be a course in the 80s. More actually say, tonton before Emma Abrofun, Emma Mkokoye, and Kwakoye, Kwasejuma, Emma Abrofun, or say, yeah, who sa adene say, a crime against humanity. What I say, because a torture and a mother brain, I feel so, and yeah, baby, I dream. And I'm about to say property and I'm starting air toying. Intino say any paintino, ye who say a crime against humanity. What I say, and because of that, intino, I say Timmy any compensation be a free sir abroad chain. We are no from sir. You say here apology. I'm more apologize say am because and puya kasa. Oko abroad call US nay. Some other countries is here we are. Yet Black history. Ye every the education curriculum yen discuss about black history yen discuss about black slavery because amonim the impact in the future into a more crapono who say money because it doesn't speak well about their nation there. They should offer an apology to us and also compensate us with some form of funds because of how
truth begins with language, with the power that words hold to shape consciousness and to shift perspectives to propel an action or other. I therefore offer this truth as a starting point. There's no such thing as a slave. There were human beings who were trafficked and then enslaved by people who believed they could own those human beings as chattels, as their personal property. Some will hear this and think I'm splitting hairs. Isn't that the same thing, they might ask? No, it's not. Not at all the same thing. Not if you acknowledge an individual's humanity. Not if you respect an individual's basic right to dignity. The entire transatlantic slave trade was designed to deny African people their humanity. And that denial was premised on a racial hierarchy with no basis in fact or science, a racial hierarchy that deemed whiteness superior and blackness inferior. The atrocities that were committed against enslaved Africans, the myriads of injustice that were born of slavery and carried forward into successive social framework took place specifically because those persons were considered objects, not human beings. So when discussing slavery and its resulting institutions and practices, we must always start by reclaiming racial equality, the dignity of Africans, the humanity of our ancestors who were enslaved, and as a matter of course, our own humanity. Here in the United States, Black history courses are being removed from school curricula. Schools are being mandated to stop teaching students about the truth of slavery, segregation, and racism in American history courses. Books about those topics are being banned in schools and public libraries. Museums, art centers, and other institutions whose budgets rely in any way on public funds are being prohibited from scheduling exhibitions and programs or from displaying materials promoting racial awareness or Black history. They are slowly normalizing.
When a US abano HM say sa proposal na Ghana and as John Dramani Mahama making say amo offer apology and afi so amo compensate those African countries with money amo timi supported that proposal adentia because one the UN there to hold peace. What I say, UN is not there to discuss about how African slavery is. And about UN. UN is there to discuss about peace and how you can hold peace in the world at large. Even though say I'm not recognizing that slave trader a course say yes a crime against humanity and that munim but sa apology any sa compensation now John Dramani Mahama a propose say I'm offer no I'm mutimi sad even though say the other UN secretariat are more honor unless the UN participant are more honor supported that motion
The United States remains steadfast in its opposition and condemnation of historic wrongs that resulted from the transatlantic slave trade, the trans-Saharan slave trade, and all other forms of slavery. We remain committed to the acknowledgement that these historical wrongs. Despite this, the United States observes that the text of this resolution remains highly problematic in countless respects. Consequently, the United States cannot support the adoption of this resolution. We regret that the United States must once again remind this body that the United Nations exists to maintain international peace and security. It was not founded to advance narrow, specific interests and agendas, to establish niche international days, or to create new costly meeting and reporting mandates. This resolution does all three. The United States has defined long-standing objectives to the framing of reparatory justice and the duty of reparation for historical wrongs. While we acknowledge the horrors of the past, we do not accept this resolution's assertion that historical facts from the 15th through 19th century constitute violations of jus cogens, as the term is understood in contemporary international law. The United States also does not recognize a legal right to reparations for historical wrongs that were not illegal under international law at the time they occurred. In addition to its obvious legal problems, this resolution is also unclear as to who the recipients of reparatory justice would be. The drafters and supporters of this resolution seem to believe it is them. The United States strongly objects to the cynical usage of historical wrongs as a leverage point in an attempt to reallocate modern resources to people and nations who are distantly related to the historical victims.
Me personally, I think John Dramani Mahama is just one side of it. Even though the slave trade is regarded as one of the biggest crime against humanity, but yebeja to musu say yempenifoɔ no mu bi ɛna nanom ɛka ho bi ɛna ma asa no ma no timi kɔɔ so ana yɛna nanom ɛna ɛde amunan egyina hɔnom ɛtɔn yɛ bibifoɔ no mu ebi ɛma schnapps ɛma mirror ɛma powder ɛma perfume what I say amo akasa na mo gyina hɔnom a mo de amo gyina ahemfufoɔ no bi ɛtɔn yɛn even though sometimes no trade ni bi hɔnom a force amo ba ma bɛkyew against your own will. But pina course na na nanom na eton e ma abrofo no say amfa yen ko ne nkokɔ yen kwaso the course in the time o hwe the course ocean ni so a shape no doing that trade no ye na nanom e kɔ a bro o tie the story behind it at time o ta say sometimes impono ye foul e wo yire ni sometimes impono ye foul e wo oma enim o ya ka che say ne wo yire enda or many one near kum. Sometimes it chow yemune, you won't swat to hold me a toe, money, a pudding, the whole command shacks, and some man, I don't know, airtime, musa. But we should take responsible of our ancestors' action. the inhuman action honum na start here. John Dramani Mahama some waka no ye nyansa wom big, but yen hwe that side ni so. Na nanu ma mo ton yen ma abrofo no na ye say ye ka mo nim na mo wan fa. Amo wan fa. O ti ase snaps o, ahwehwe o, perfume ene enkwasa nyoma ni aton nipa agi side na ato yi. Nti se kasa asem na yen hwe that side no so na enka no so sanka ho. Because abrofo no mo buy some buy business. And whatever offer I'm de buy gunpowder and this and I'm de buy Bible this and money now for business purposes. Say slave trade. Who slave trade so as a crime against humanity. Na against abrofo na yenka and so against ananom. Because they played a very vital role to seeing our own people being sold out. This is the political 22. Until then, peace out.